Hey everyone, I'm sorry for any kind of bad connections you may get doing this, but yeah, you see the title above or below, depending on how you watch this, from either your television, your PS4, your Xbox One, or your Android or Kindle, whatever. But you see the title, and thank you all for watching live. Thank you all for watching live, but again, you see the title and everything, and it's a question that it's somewhat based on a question that another fan had at the MLP forums, and I kind of reiterated or kind of re-asked that question with my take on it, because I contributed to the topic. I contributed to the topic with my answer and everything, and I decided to take my answer and redistribute it on Equestria Daily's forums by kind of using that as the start off point to talk about the topic there. But this question is basically very similar to it. You know, will relationships become canon in MLP FIM, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic? And trying to look. We've got about 17 minutes, but you know, it's a good question because it's a good question because ever since the show became what it is, it's gotten all these fans from all ages and from all age groups, from all genders, from all backgrounds and all that, adults, adolescents, college students, you name it. Ever since they ended up getting this fan base, these bronies, these Pegasisters, this community of fans, young and old, to support the show, a lot of people have always been, one of the biggest topics out of it, or to come out of it, are relationships. Like, basically, do you support this pairing? Do you support that pairing? You know, do you think this pairing could work? Do you think this pairing cannot work? Why do you think it would work? Why don't you think it won't work? Stuff like that. And one fan asked if ships were ever going to be canon in the show. If any ships would be canon or something like that. Now, I've made my own topics on this and everything. I even did a text and an audio video, you know, on basically YT's romance, YT's and hint at romance if you're not going to do anything about it. You know, if you're not going to, you know, run with the ball with it, you know. And when I look at MLP, you know, I understand why you got such a diverse group of fans that will come out and either out of respect or discussion or debate, well, out of respect, or out of respect, you know, for the other, and say why they like this pairing and why they feel it works and why they don't like this pairing and why they feel it doesn't work. And then sometimes also debate the reasons why and why not. You know, like I said, I've given my own thoughts on it. And I look at it this way with shipping. And I said this. sorry if I'm kind of looking around, just checking things around here. But this is what I said in response to that person that asked if any shipping would become canon in MLP. And what I told them was basically flat out, if any kind of shipping or relationships were to become canon in the show, in the franchise, that they would become canon during the last season. Like in my opinion, I feel that they're going to try to go a decade's worth with the show. They're going to try to go a whole decade's worth. And I've told them basically, and I basically said that in my opinion, I think the show, if they do bring relationships to the forefront, especially for the main six down the line, that it'll only occur and become a big deal, become official for them and all that in the last season. Because basically you've done everything you can with these characters. You've taken them to every part of the world, just about. You've basically taken them to every corner of the world they live in, to every corner of Equestria and beyond it, as far as the movie is concerned. And what do you have? So what is next for them? I mean, obviously we kind of have an idea of what may happen in season 8, but that's all up to what the writing staff plans to do. Just checking the stream there. And again, that's all depending on what the writing staff plans to do. And just checking something there. Anyway, like I said, it all depends on what the writing staff plans to do. I mean, I basically said in the audio video, as well as the text that I did before it, that if the writing staff executes this arc or this plot that they got going with Chrysalis, who's coming back in season 8, if they execute this right and make it a season-long arc that they can work with and really think through and really work through, and really every 3 to 6 episodes dedicate an episode to the arc to move it forward, then they're gonna have something good on their hands. If they decide to hotshot it in the premiere, it's like, where do you go from there then? It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. And when I look at something like potential relationships, boyfriend girlfriend kind of things happening for the main six, it's like I said, I feel that the most logical point in the series, continuity wise and story wise, for that to become a thing for them would be in the last season of the show, would be like in the final season, which again, like I said, I believe will be a 10th season. I believe that would be where everything comes to a head. You've taken everything that they've accumulated and basically acknowledged it and referenced it. So now, what's the logical step? And to me, it's obvious that they hint at relationships between characters, between the main six and some male characters. Either we know who they are or we don't. They hint at them. They hint at it, and it's like, well, you're hinting at it, so why don't you go through it, right? And my belief is, I think if they do it, it's going to happen in the 10th season, because where else are you going to go with these characters besides facing a new threat, a new villain, in what could possibly be the last season of the show, what else can you do? And the obvious solution, in my opinion, the obvious solution is you got to basically take it to another. You gotta introduce the romance factor into the show, because if you're going to introduce the romance factor into the spin-off, into the Equestria Girl spin-off, then why haven't you gone and fully introduced it here? I'm not saying that they haven't, but to a point that you know something's going to happen between one of them and the male love interest. You know what I'm saying? I mean, here's the thing. Some people were happy at the fact that Big Mac got a love interest this season. Now, we're not sure if Sugar Belle is going to remain on as his love interest. You know, everybody will say, well, the reason Cherry Lee didn't work out is because that was a love potion, and they acknowledged it. So yeah, okay, Cherry Lee was because of a love potion. Good point. But how do we know Sugar Belle will? Gonna interrupt. You knew it was gonna do that. Sorry about that, folks. The stream got interrupted there. I don't know what happened. But it's like, you know, some people say, well, you know, the Cherry Lee thing was all because of a love potion. That's true. It was. But how do we know Sugar Belle's going to last? That's the question. How do we know it's not just going to be something that he goes through, and then all of a sudden they go their separate ways, and now he has to find somebody else? You see, you know, he may have gotten a girlfriend this year, a love interest, potentially a new reoccurring character, but how do we know she's going to be sticking around? We don't. We don't really know that. We don't really know until the writers themselves give us an indication that she's going to. Another thing as well about the fact that I believe the 10th season, that the final season, whether it's the 10th season, which I believe it will be. Another reason I believe, like I said, that if you're going to do romance and relationships and really finally bring it into Friendship is Magic, again, like I said, what else are you going to do with these characters? I mean, you've done just about everything you could with them. You're going to do something big with them in season 8, obviously. You know, you're doing something big with them as far as the movie is concerned. So, you know, what else do you got in store? What else do you got planned for them? And to me, it's like, well, you don't really have much else to go with, and besides, there's a lot of potential of introducing characters, newer characters in, to kind of become those love interests. You introduce them in the last season, they become the love interest. You at least establish, maybe for an episode or so, that let's say Applejack becomes the girlfriend of a new character, or an established character, whoever that might be, and you use maybe one episode or two to establish that, and off to the races you go. It's like you use 1 or 2 episodes to establish that, not back to back, but once in a while. You know, once every 3 to 6 to 8 episodes, you use one to establish the relationship, and then, like I said, off to the races you go with them being with her and her new love interest. At least with her and her boyfriend, because at least you're dedicating time to it, but you're not shoving it in people's faces. You know, you're at least letting people know that, yeah, she has a boyfriend now. Same with Rarity. You know, some people are saying Rarity is going to have a potential love interest in Capper come the movie. I told one person that mentioned this, I said, where's the evidence of this? Where's the proof? You know, I asked him. I told him that there's there's no evidence or anything that that's going to happen in the movie. Just like a lot of people say there's no evidence that Spike and Rarity will ever officially become a pairing. Same here. We don't have no visual representation. We have no visual aid or acknowledgement from the creative staff that that's going to happen, because obviously it's not. I mean, yeah, you could probably tease at the fact that the way he looks at her and looks down like in her direction, like towards, when you look at the trailer, and that obviously one of those finale scenes in the movie, you know how he's right next to her looking down while he's clapping. The truth is, he's looking down at the ponies. He's not just looking down at her. And if he was a potential love interest, why isn't he always there with them, side by side with her? That's what I'm saying. I think some people just want to come up with any... I think people just want to come up with any kind of excuse not to make a Rarity Spike situation a reality. And that's okay. That's their opinion. You know, like I said, that's okay. That's their opinion. But like I said, you know, let's say Rarity ends up getting somebody. Let's say she does. Let's say the writing staff says, you know what, the heck with it. It's the final season. Let's put her with Spike. Let's find a way around that. Let's make it happen. Let's find a way around that to make it happen. Make it official, and go from there. Just like with Applejack, all they would have to do is dedicate an episode or two, not back to back, but once in a while, in the season to that relationship, just like they've kind of teased and hinted at it, or some kind of attraction and affection between the two so far in the series. Dedicate maybe another episode or two to it in this final season, and there you go. At least you establish that they are together, but you're not pushing in people's face. Same with Rainbow Dash. Let's say you want to finally acknowledge that fans want her with Soren, and you make that happen. 1 or 2 episodes, not back to back, but once in a while, far in between, like one episode, like the first episode where it becomes official, happens, or you're building towards it, and you're acknowledging it, you know, becomes, you know, comes out, and then maybe a month or so later, you make another episode, you release another episode, maybe even after a small hiatus, where they officially become a pairing. It's like 1 or 2 episodes, and you don't have to shove it in people's faces, because at least now you acknowledge, hey, Rainbow Dash is with Soren, there you go. Same with Fluttershy and possibly Discord, for all we know. You know, people have always said it's pretty much canon anyway. Yeah, but there's no official statement. There's no official visual aids. Aids or anything. Well, yeah, there are visual aids, but you get what I'm saying. You could use an episode or 2 to really establish that, okay, the friendship has gone beyond friendship. And there you go. 1 or 2 episodes. Oh, it's a season. In that final season, there you go. Same with, let's say you want to do Pinkie Pie and cheese sandwich. Boom. There's same routine. 1 or 2 episodes that season, not back to back, but maybe 3 to 8 episodes. You know, there you go. And of course, same with Twilight, and if they want to do it, Flash freaking Century. You know, there you go. They can make that happen. They can make it happen with 1 or 2 episodes that can be between 3 to 8 weeks if they wanted to do it. My point is that if any kind of shipping, any kind of romance, any kind of relationships are going to become official for the main 6, become canon, if you will, in Friendship is Magic, honestly, realistically, in my opinion, I think the best time that's going to happen, the best option they're going to have is going to be the last season. It's going to be the final season where things get wrapped up, everything comes to a close, and we start building to the next MLP series. You know, which is either a continuation of this one, or it's just an all-new original idea, whatever it may be. I believe the final season is probably the best option that the creative staff would have for this, because everybody knows when something does officially come to an end and you're working on the final issue of it, let's say if it's a comic, or you're working on the final game of it, if it's a video game, the final book in a book series, or in this case a show, animated or live action, you could pretty much start doing the things that you've been wanting to do for a while. You pretty much can do the things that fans have been wanting you to do for a while, because you won't have to worry about what comes afterwards. You won't have to worry about another season, if you catch my drift. So, in my opinion, my honest opinion, from a realistic standpoint, the last season of MLP FIM is probably the best option for romance to officially happen for the main six, for relationships to officially become canon for the main six, as far as love interests go in the series. So, but honestly, that's when I think relationships will become canon for the main six in MLP FIM, around the last season that the show is in existence, which I believe will be a 10th season. I really do. So that's all I'm going to say on it, folks. I got to head back into work. Thank you all for watching live. Thank you all for those watching post live, in other words, watching it after it was uploaded and done live. Thank you all for watching. I got to get back into work, but let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I'm out. Peace. God bless. Take care.